express what you see in any object, convert it into yourself, and then offer it to the world. And it's that infinite variability that the human figure has, or that the human has, to make something real out of stuff. Keep trying to find who I am in relation to the rest of the world, and who the rest of the world is in relation to me. And that is my philosophy. I was born in Brooklyn, and I always thought I was going to be a scientist. Over a time of studying science, I realized that I wasn't getting the kinds of answers to the kinds of questions that I asked about the world. I didn't verbalize this until much later, but it turns out what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to find out as an artist, is the shape of the face of God. I wasn't looking to make art so that people could buy it. I was looking to make art so that I could find out more about God. And eventually I realized that I didn't need to be in New York. So I had my second ex-wife drop me off on the other side of the Holland Tunnel, leading out of New York City. And I started walking.
Okay, so the legend that I have heard is that one day in the late 60s, he literally walked out of New York City and then walked to Chicago. And at that point, continued his journey across the country. I don't know if he walked or used some sort of mechanical conveyance. And then heard that there was a commune in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and moved to Eureka Springs, really liked it, met Joanne, and that is the story that I heard of how he ended up in Arkansas.
Here's this cool guy from New York who could talk. You know, sometimes you just know. And I thought, he doesn't look like I'd imagined him looking, but he's the one.
He sits on this line of art and craft that has always been something that we've had a lot of conversation around in the family, sort of where that border is and isn't. He's doing a craft that sort of is so integrated with the art that he's doing.
And I remember him telling me a long time ago that you can't represent this vastness accurately. The way to depict that is through these kind of emotional vessels, which came in what seem like abstract forms, but often mirror the cellular aspects of humans and organic life. And I see that strain going through all of his work.
I set up on the square in Fayetteville a little sculpture studio, and I said, would you like to have your portrait painted, sculpted? And I started making these little clay sculptures, which I would then cast in plaster and paint to look like bronze, and charged them $50, and was able to support myself. I eventually did over 1,000 pieces. One day I was looking at a drawing that an architect friend of mine had of the new town center. And it looked to me like the tall tower needed a sphere over here as contrapunctus. And it took quite a bit of time, 2 years of really working on the politics of it. Some people were upset by the fact that it used the word peace, and we were fixing to go to war. So they considered it a political speech, and therefore it shouldn't be happening. And it may be the most important thing we do, or I do, is to keep impressing that idea. There may be a need for war, but it ain't inevitable. And here it is, all these communities, all these people with every different language that you can think of, all those saying the same thing in different languages, all those facing to the center of the earth. That's a good thing. I feel like I've done something. I don't know how or why or it fell to me, but I've done something that gave a lot to the people who looked at it, who understood it, and who ventured to touch it and spin it. I'm tearing up, right? Because I'm overwhelmed. You start with an idea. You have the idea and you exploit it by expressing it in different ways. Every time you take the piece out of the mold, you see something new usually. And then you start to wonder, what would happen if I did this? So my philosophy hinges on play and how important it is to let go of the limits. There are many ways to look at God and many ways to look at the world. And I think that's really what you do. You spend your time being curious about the world, looking at the world, and trying to transform it somehow into an experience for other people.